Right. So today we're going to do a deep dive on Aimpoint putting.
Okay.
It's one of those things that like a lot of the pros use, and you
Yeah.
see them out there on the green.
It's really popular right now.
They're like bobbing their finger up and down.
Yeah.
It seems very precise,
Mm-hmm.
but it's supposed to be based on like this simple geometry.
Right.
So we've got some research here that was sent in by a listener
Okay.
that kind of questions some of the assumptions behind Aimpoint.
Right.
So we're going to go through that and see if these finger bobs are really as accurate as everyone thinks they are.
I'm excited for this one. This is going to be a good one because it gets really into like the weeds of how Aimpoint connects the slope percentage to like the finger widths that you see.
Right.
So it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating because it seems so simple, right?
Right.
But this analysis is saying like, well, maybe they're not really teaching it correctly.
Yeah, maybe they're not applying the geometry.
Yeah, or the geometry is like fundamentally flawed in some way.
Yeah.
So let's just start with the basics. Like, how does Aimpoint work? How are they translating fingers into break?
Okay, so Aimpoint assigns a break unit to each 1% of slope, on the green.
Okay.
And on a standard Stimp 10 green, which is kind of average green speed, that unit equals half an inch of break for every foot of your putt.
Mm-hmm.
And so here come the fingers, right?
Yeah.
You hold your finger up.
Yeah.
You line the left edge up with the center of the cup.
Okay.
And then the right edge of your finger is going to show you where to aim to account for the break.
So like one finger width is 1%. Two finger width is 2% like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how they teach it.
Seems pretty straightforward.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The analysis that we have points out that they seem to be assuming everyone has the same finger width.
Right.
But we know
that's not true.
That's not true. You and I have different finger widths, right?
Yeah. Like, I got some pretty stubby fingers. I've never thought that would be a problem on the golf course, but...
Well, it might be a problem because the research is saying that Aimpoint doesn't really emphasize measuring your finger width.
Okay.
And that's really crucial.
Okay, why is finger width so important? I mean, it's just a finger.
Well, you have to think about it. To accurately represent that break angle with your finger, you need to hold your finger a specific distance away from your eye.
Okay.
And guess what determines that distance?
Your finger width.
Your finger width, exactly.
So wider finger, further away from the eye.
Exactly.
Further away from the eye.
But how do you know exactly how far away to hold it?
So there's a specific ratio that you have to maintain here.
Okay.
You take the break unit, which is that half inch of break per foot, remember, on a Stimp 10 green, okay? And you divide that by 12 inches, which is a foot, which is the baseline distance.
Yeah.
And that gives you 0.0416.
Okay.
And you have to maintain that ratio.
Okay.
For the angle your finger makes to actually match the real break angle on the green.
Oh, wow. There's like some serious math going on here. It's not just like...
Yeah, they're installing it.
It's not just eyeballing it.
Okay.
And the analysis actually goes further and gives us a way to figure out what our ideal finger distance should be based on our finger width.
Okay.
You take your finger width and you divide it by that magic ratio, 0.0416.
So if I had a finger width of, say, half an inch, I'd have to hold my finger 12 inches from my eye.
Exactly. Exactly 12 inches from your eye.
And that keeps that ratio consistent.
Keeps that ratio consistent, and it makes sure your finger is representing the break angle accurately.
Okay.
But here's the catch.
Okay.
The research claims that most pros have wider fingers closer to 3/4 of an inch.
Oh.
And so if they're holding their fingers the same distance as someone with half-inch fingers, then the angle is going to be off.
Yeah, I'm starting to see where this is going. It's like those optical illusions where it's the same length line, but it looks longer or shorter depending on like the context around it.
Exactly.
So a finger held closer to your eye is going to make it look like there's a bigger angle, even if it's the same width finger.
Exactly. That's a great analogy.
Okay.
And they give us some DIY methods that we can use to measure our finger width.
Oh, cool.
One way to do it is you lay your index finger across the tip of your other index finger.
Okay.
Because that tip is roughly an inch.
Yeah.
And you can see if your finger's wider or narrower than half an inch.
Interesting. Okay.
So
the takeaway here is like finger width matters a lot more than we think. And like even a little difference can throw off the accuracy of that finger bob.
A little difference can throw it off, yeah. And this is where it gets really compelling.
Okay.
They actually took photos of pro golfers using the finger bob technique and analyzed how far they were holding their fingers from their eyes.
Oh, this is great. Do they actually have their fingers at the correct distance based on their, robust finger widths?
Well, let's just say there are some inconsistencies.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we'll get into that in the next part.
All right, so listeners, we'll be right back with more Aimpoint insights in just a moment. All right, so welcome back, everyone. Before the break, we were talking about how your finger width is, like, super important for Aimpoint to actually be accurate.
Yeah, it's not as simple as just, like, holding up a finger.
Right.
You got to know how far to hold it.
Right, and that distance is determined by your finger width.
Exactly.
And the analysis that we have suggests that even pro golfers aren't always consistent with, like, their finger distances.
Yeah.
So let's get into these photos.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of inconsistencies are we talking about here? Are these pros, like, way off base?
So remember we said that pros likely have wider fingers, around 3/4 of an inch?
Yeah, like 3/4 of an inch, yeah.
And so according to the analysis, to maintain that ratio that we talked about, with that finger width, you would need to hold your finger about 18 inches from your eye on a Stimp 10 green.
18 inches, okay. So are these photos showing finger distances all over the place?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
The analysis shows a range of distances, some close to 18 inches, but a lot of them are significantly shorter or longer.
Okay.
They point to Keegan Bradley as an example.
Okay.
In some photos, his elbow is bent at a sharp angle.
Okay.
Which suggests that his finger is way closer to his eye than 18 inches.
Right.
But then in other photos, his arm is almost fully extended.
Oh, wow.
Which puts the finger way out there.
So even the same golfer isn't consistent from putt to putt.
Right.
I mean, I guess even pros have their off days.
Well, it's not even about having an off day. It's more about just pointing out the potential for inconsistency within the system itself.
Okay.
They also looked at Adam Scott, who's another top player, and his finger distances ranged anywhere from 15 to 20 inches, which might not seem like a lot.
Yeah.
But we're talking about millimeters here impacting the putt.
Right. So what you're saying is even if they're correctly judging like what the slope percentage is, their finger distance could be throwing off their aim.
Exactly.
It's like they're starting with the right ingredients, but then measuring them out all weird.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And this brings up another interesting point, which is green speed.
Okay.
Aimpoint does adjust for green speed, but it does so by changing the distance you hold your finger.
Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. We're adding like another layer of complexity here. So explain how that works.
So on faster greens, you need more break right.
Right.
So Aimpoint says you should shorten that finger distance to create a steeper angle.
Okay.
So for example, on a Stimp, 12.5 green, which is pretty fast.
Yeah.
A golfer with a 3/4 inch finger would only need to hold it about 14.4 inches from their eye.
Okay.
Compared to 18 on a Stimp 10.
So faster greens, shorter distance, bigger angle.
Yeah.
Got it. What about slower greens?
Same principle, just the opposite.
Okay.
On a slower green, say Stimp 8.5, you'd hold your finger further away around 20.7 inches.
Okay.
To create a shallower angle for less break.
I'm starting to get a headache just thinking about all these calculations.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm wondering. Like, if even the pros are inconsistent with their finger distances on a standard green, wouldn't adding in this green speed adjustment just make things like even more complicated and like prone to error?
It's a great question, and honestly, it's hard to say for sure, but it does highlight just how much these small variations in finger distance can impact your aim.
Okay, let's talk about that. Like, what kind of impact are we talking about? If my finger's off by like an inch or two, am I really going to miss the putt?
So they have a pretty striking example in the analysis.
Okay.
Let's say you're on a Stimp 11 green, and your finger distance is off by just 1 inch.
Okay.
That tiny difference creates an angle error of 0.15 degrees. Okay.
Now, if your distance is off by 6 inches, that's a 0.9 degree error.
Okay. That doesn't sound like much.
It doesn't sound like much, but
I have a feeling you're going to tell me why it actually is a big deal.
Oh, it's a big deal.
Okay.
A 0.9 degree error means that even on a perfectly straight putt, you can miss the cup entirely.
Oh, wow.
That tiny angle error could send your ball over a foot to the left or right.
Wow. Okay. Now that puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
So all this talk of ratios and angles is interesting.
Yeah.
But let's get practical.
Okay.
The analysis mentions some tables and formulas to help golfers apply this information.
Yes.
Can you break those down for us?
Absolutely. In the next part, we're going to get into those tables and formulas and what they recommend golfers do with this information.
All right, sounds good. Listeners, stick around. We'll be back with the final part of our Aimpoint deep dive in just a moment.
Okay. So we're back, and Ready to wrap up this Aimpoint deep dive?
Yeah.
I feel like we've uncovered some pretty interesting stuff
Definitely.
about this putting technique that I think a lot of people just don't realize.
A lot of people don't realize, and this last part gets into even more of the nuances that this research brought to light. It's really fascinating stuff.
Okay, so what else do we need to know about Aimpoint? And it's like the potential limitations. Is there more to this story than just finger bobbing inconsistencies?
Yeah, so one thing they bring up is that Aimpoint focuses primarily on whole number slope percentages.
Okay.
You know, like 2% or 3%.
Right.
But what happens when you encounter a slope that's like 2.5%?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Right?
I mean, golf courses are rarely perfectly symmetrical. I can't imagine every green has like neat little whole number slopes. So how does Aimpoint deal with those in-between scenarios?
Well, from what I gather from the research, it seems like they don't have a precise way to address those subtle variations. It seems like you're just expected to round up or down to the nearest whole number.
So even if you're like meticulously measuring your finger width and distance, the system itself might just be oversimplifying things.
Exactly. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
And it really highlights the fact that any putting technique you use, you have to consider the limitations.
Right. It's not just about getting the finger bobbing right. It's like understanding the potential for error that's kind of baked into the system itself.
Yeah, baked into the system itself. Are there any other limitations they point out?
Yeah, are there?
Yeah, actually, they raise concerns about the accuracy of the ankle bobbing method.
Oh, yeah, the ankle bob.
Which is how they have you initially determine the slope percentage.
Yeah, you stand behind your ball and like kind of rock back and forth on your ankles.
Exactly.
To gauge like the degree of slope.
Yeah, I've tried that. And to be honest, it always felt a little
subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the research kind of echoes that sentiment.
Okay.
Saying that it might not be the most reliable way to assess slope accurately.
Yeah, especially for golfers who aren't super attuned to like those subtle sensations in their ankles.
Right. So you could have like a perfectly calibrated finger distance.
Yeah.
But if your initial slope reading is off because of like wonky ankle bobbing.
Yeah, the whole system falls apart.
Yeah, it's like building a house on a foundation of sand.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about some pretty significant limitations of Aimpoint.
Right.
Where does this leave us? If we can't rely on finger bobs and ankle bobs, what are we supposed to do? Like, is there a better way to approach green reading?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Every golfer wants to know that.
Right.
And while there's no single right way to read a green, the analysis does suggest maybe exploring alternative methods that might be more intuitive and less reliant on these precise measurements.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Okay.
What are these alternative approaches?
Well, one thing they mention is focusing on developing your ability to see the break.
Okay.
To really visualize those contours of the green and how the ball's going to roll. It's about becoming more attuned to those visual cues.
Okay.
Like the way the grass is growing.
Okay.
Any subtle dips or rises in the terrain. The overall lay of the land.
So less about like crunching numbers.
Yeah.
And more about trusting like your eyes.
Exactly.
And intuition. Almost like reading the green with your gut.
Yeah.
As much as like with any specific technique.
Exactly. And that goes hand in hand with experience, right?
Yeah.
The more you play on different greens, the better you'll get at recognizing those subtle breaks.
Yeah, and just like instinctively adjusting your aim.
Yeah, exactly. It's like anything else in golf. The more you do it, the more you develop that feel.
That you can't learn from a textbook.
Exactly. And this isn't to say that like techniques like Aimpoint are completely useless.
Right.
They can be valuable tools, but it's essential to understand their limitations.
Yeah.
And to develop your feel and intuition alongside any technique that you use.
Yeah. So finding that balance between like the technical and the intuitive. Using the tools that are available, but also trusting your instincts and learning from every putt that you hit.
I love that.
All right. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From finger bobbing to ankle bobbing.
Ratios, green speed adjustment.
Oh, my goodness. What's the one key takeaway that you want our listeners to walk away with?
I would say don't be afraid to question assumptions.
Okay.
Experiment and find what works best for you. There's no magic formula for perfect putting, but, you know, with careful observation, thoughtful practice, and a healthy dose of curiosity, you can improve your skills and enjoy the game even more.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, that about wraps it up for this Aimpoint deep dive.
Okay.
Huge thank you to our expert for all these insights.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
And to you, our listeners, for joining us on this journey.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
Keep those putters rolling. And never stop exploring new ways to improve your game. We'll see you next time.